Hi, Cancer. This is your reading this week. This is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. If you have a stellium or Sun and the Moon in the fourth house, especially if you have Sun or Moon in the fourth house, and I should just say that on the other ones because your Cancers are already pulled up for the reading. Also, I just got done with Scorpio's reading, and if you're involved in Scorpio or you have a eighth house stellium, Sun or Moon in the eighth house, Pluto on the ascendant, go watch that one. Wow. So I'll be real honest with you because that's how I roll. I started pulling cards. This is the second time I'm taping. I started pulling cards, and I clearly got somebody who was like, it was very specific for somebody, like probably going to get a divorce. Sometimes people don't know they're about to get a divorce, and I'm like, hey, Spirit, can I maybe have a reading for something that's not telling somebody they might be getting a divorce, because that just doesn't feel good for like the general collective. And I'm always really honest about, so if you're a Cancer, and that feels like something that might be in your, or it's something you're thinking about, I had 15-minute readings. I don't know what else to say. But it was super, super. We have an eclipse coming, and so like the energy in general is, out with the bad. Cards are being a little quiet. I have new cards. I will tell you right away, because we're looking to the energy around you, whether you know it or not, the energy of your persons, or a situation, and then the alchemy, the energy that's created by those two energies. And then we're also looking at what you're bringing in, whether you realize it or not, to the table, and then what energy that creates. And my favorite part of the readings, which is what growth or gift does this relationship, whether it lasts 2 years, 2 months, 20 years, right? Because it's never about the person or the situation being the destination. I like it. It's about it's about the discovery of yourself. So absolutely, you have to hop in the car and go for the ride, because we want the gifts, even if sometimes it'll feel like gifts at the time. Okay, so Cancer, are you sitting? Very interesting. But I'm gonna just tell you, I have this card on the table, and I have that card on the table. Would you like to just end the reading here? This is your energy. I know that looks negative, but I'm gonna tell you that that is not so much negative as it is Cancer is a giver, and you've actually gotten to a point where you're like, I am not negotiating my worth like an old used toy on eBay anymore. If anyone knows me, that's my analogy for like how we see ourselves, whether we're mint in the box or whether we're haggling with people on Facebook Marketplace that then later get turned into a very funny TikTok. Because we think, well, we have bumps and bruises, so let's, I really wanted this out of a partner, but they have to deal with this for me. So I'm just going to negotiate that part because they can't be too picky, right? And so that part of you, which is very Cancerian, you know, Cancerian likes old things. They're attached to Cancerians, like old people and antiques and old recipes and cooking and alchemy, and things that have history and character. They're like a fixer-upper. They're like a house. I can see this how I want it, you know? And sometimes they like fixer-upper people. And the thing is, no one's perfect, and no one's saying that like you can't fall in love or have a really great, healthy, long-lasting relationship with somebody who has flaws. Of course you can. But when you attach the fact that you're gonna fix them to the scenario, then that's when things go bad. I know what I just told you, you already know for yourself. But what I love, that being said, is that I don't know what had to happen to put you in this stage, but this is one of my favorite cards for Cancer, actually. That is one of my favorite cards for Cancer. And the reason is because this, you know, it's the DNR card. It's the do not resuscitate. I no longer accept that in my life. And that's great because Cancers will give and give and give and give and fix and fix and fix and fix. And then sometimes, you know, let's not just play the victim. Sometimes then we walk into that and then are upset that like, that didn't turn out the way that I thought. Well, why did you think? Let's go back to why did you think that you were responsible? And, you know, Cancer has some magic. They're intuitive. They can guess things. They can see things coming a mile away. So because you're right so often about that, because you do have the ability to make a room better, to make things better, people will tell you all the time, you have magic. So then you're like, well, then why didn't that magic work on this? Right? Because you're only in charge of you. Because the people who tell you your magic were receptive to it. And whether that fully fixed anything or it just gave that magical vibration to it are two different things. But I digress. I love this card for you. What's crazy is when you start, like, when you stop taking less than you deserve, it brings in this. You know, there are soulmates, and then that, like, this card for me, it's the Gemini card. You could be dealing with a Gemini, although I gotta tell you, I don't love Cancer and Gemini together. I wish Chris and Selena all the luck in the world. Those two might work. Depends on your other placements. In general, don't love it. You have other placements that make that work. Godsend. But the Lovers used to be called the choice. And it's the twin flame card, right? Because it's the twin. Gemini is the twin. That's why it's the twin flame card. It's not just because it's called the Lovers. The energy that will match yours is on the table. It's on the table. And the energy that you finally having some freaking boundaries and bringing in that other energy for yourself creates is my happy ending card. Somebody just won a 30-minute reading over knowing that that's what I call my happy ending card. It's not just the cups, it's the stability to go with the cups. You get the cups and the pentacles, a couple of dogs and kids, a home. I mean, everything that Cancer loves. I know 10 of Cups is supposed to be like the holy grail, right, of Cancerian wish list, but it's not really. We need the home to take care of. We want the people in it. We want the whole enchilada. Eight of Wands is what you're bringing in, but in reverse. And I find this really interesting. They're bringing in, this is very crazy. So they're bringing in feeling left out in the cold, being under-resourced. Sometimes this is the ghosting card. It doesn't apply right here. Even though we have Eight of Wands in reverse, and normally when I get those two cards together, it's an absolute out of communication. There's only there's two sets of swords on the table. One, you are done listening to empty words, because that's the other thing. My Ten of Swords in the upright means no more empty words. We're done with that. They are coming in. It can be, twin flame, it can be really, really rewarding and really, really challenging. Soulmates are easier. Everybody gasses up the whole twin flame thing. Twin flame thing is great if you have the fortitude for it. Cancer does. Cancer absolutely does. It doesn't mean it comes in perfect. So they're coming in feeling a little under-resourced, maybe a little tattered and bruised. And you're coming in with like, I don't talk about it, be about it. There's no other good way to say that. You're in the don't talk about it, be about it energy. That's where you're at with your Ten of Swords and your Eight of Wands in communication. And that's what you're bringing over. The only thing I don't love is that you're bringing also to this a slight lack of communication, which is unlike you. Cancer is good at manifestation. You just are. So sometimes we speak things into existence that don't have legs. Or we set the bar low for ourselves because we do that whole bargaining with ourselves, like a used toy on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, right? So we set the bar low, and then we settle for just the beginning communication. Like, oh, look, they're interested. They must be crazy about me. Look, they're saying they're crazy about me. And so because Cancerian is very emotion driven, a lot of times we let the feeling that the other person's attention, what that gives us as like, we settle for that as like, just keep making me feel like that and I'm good. And Gemma from Gemstones Tarot talks about this. And of course I'm an astrologer, but I just want to make sure I don't give the appearance of impropriety here. Cancer went through, we're about to enter Scorpio Taurus nodal axis eclipse for the next year and a half. We just got done with Gemini and Sagittarius, which brought about different belief systems coming to the surface. Like we really saw that one on a collective. Prior to that, we were in Capricorn Cancer nodal axis and eclipse. When your sign is in eclipse season every 9 years, it's a big change. It's a big change. And it brings about endings and things that are painful often, but it also brings about boundaries. And Cancer is absolutely Cancer. Pisces the most, has probably the least amount of boundaries, and needs them the most. So in the beginning, there's going to be a lot of unspoken, and the passion is going to be there. And the passion, like when I say passion, I mean like this person says hello and good morning, and you're like, but it's the same. It's going either way. There's something about you for this person that like gets them in a way that no one else does. Not some people may, I don't want to say temporarily get like, turn up the temperature and then not have that be sustained. But whoever you're dealing with, there's unlimited resources of attraction and follow through. Just don't rely on that. I feel like you don't want to be the cookie baking, like fix everything mommy person. Like you want to be a woman, you want to be desired, you want all of that. And you might be a little tired of feeling like you're the one who comes in and nurtures everything, but also fixes everything, because then that sometimes puts us in mommy mode. We already have kids. One way or the other, whether you have animals or whether you're everyone else's mom at work, whether whatever. If you're Cancer, you're momming somewhere. As a verb, you're momming somewhere. So that's not what we want out of our relationships, although that's the environment sometimes we create, and then we're resentful when that's what we get. We end up feeling like we have another child instead of a partner. I know so many of you were like, you just said a mouthful. So what I love is the lessons that come in. So just be careful, because if no one's communicating or everyone's feeling kind of dejected and just relying on that passion, as good as it is, and as much as you want that, make sure. Okay, they just said this. Make sure that there's not a misconception and where the power lies. Because you're tired of being the nice lady, right? So like you want there to be passion, you want to like hold some power. Like you want some power. Be careful that you felt like you overgave and you oversaid. You don't ever overpromise. Cancer barely overpromises. Sometimes maybe it's rare. But I feel like you've oversaid, and then somehow you feel like you gave your power away through words. So now you're like, I found my power. Cancer is, don't sleep on it, not so bad at that. That just came in and interrupted my last line. Yes, you have power there. Yes, it feels good. Yes, you deserve to be like a desirable man or woman, and not just, it's gender fluid, but like you could be a man and be the cookie making like nurturer for sure. And you want to be a badass, and of course you do. Just be careful that it's not substituting communicating your needs, because you don't want to come off mushy and gushy. So you're just not speaking at all, or you're not communicating on a deeper level. That only lasts so long anyway, and then the dam will break. So it's not a good idea. In this last line, for the gifts that you get, first of all, let me just say the energy created in the middle, I freaking love this. This is the heartache. I'm gonna say in this situation, both of you have been the main dish where there was a side dish. Both of you have been cheated on. Both of you have been in third party energy, whether it was like 4 people at once or whether it was emotional cheating, and which sometimes is worse, finding like them saying things to something that they used to say to you. Just feeling like somebody else has their vulnerability, and their respect sometimes can be worse than finding out that they touched each other's bodies. That's going to be relevant to a few of you. And it goes along with wanting to be their everything and making sure that you are so desirable that no one else. But let me explain something to you. That's never what cheating is about. Cheating is never about how good you are in the sack. Cheating is never about whether somebody was sexier than you. And cheating was never about whether somebody was more attractive than you. It's the other person's limitations or inability to express things the way that they should, or it's their damage from childhood, what they saw, what they were taught, you know. a man whose mom was in and out of their lives and their mom couldn't choose them, sure as hell is going to put a lot of eggs in their basket to make sure they're never without eggs, because the only, source of eggs that they had as a child was unavailable to them and inconsistent, right? That mother's milk thing is no joke. And that's another habit Cancer has, and that's another, I keep saying, and do a Cancer masterclass, is because those men, specifically when you have female Cancer and a male somebody else, and that's whether it's female energy or not, but that maternal Cancerian energy is sometimes a magnet to people who did not get that as a child. And sometimes those people put a lot of eggs in one basket. And it's important for you to know it wasn't because you weren't sexy, and it wasn't because you weren't skilled. I normally say, and I'm not mad at the Knight of Cups, but I would like him to have some follow through. This is different. This is the gift that you get out. And the gift that you get out is really, this could be the Temperance card for Cancer. You don't have to use all of your intuition to try to tell somebody, like, to be valuable. Going back to that haggling for your worth on Facebook Marketplace. You don't have to see everything coming to try to fix it in advance for that person to be valuable. You don't have to over gush, and you don't have to completely hold back either. The Knight of Cups for a Cancer is balance. Don't shut it off, and don't overgive. You and this person, it's not gonna run perfectly smooth, but you and this person heal each other. The thing that's killing me is I don't know that they're in your field, obviously, because they're on the table, but I don't know that there's like communication yet. That card reminds me of Scorpio's reading a little bit, which is learning how to, like, look how they work to grow on that. And they're a little beat up, and both is okay. And they are standing their ground. They are also standing in their power, but this person is learning their power is not perfection. This person is learning that their power is not perfection. And it's not never being rejected, and their power is falling down and getting back up and growing. That's not a line of like lush trees lining one of those big fancy driveways. They are proud of what they have going, and they are beat up and bruised, but they are standing their ground. And standing in your power doesn't always mean sitting on a throne and having everyone else worship you. It means you being satisfied. This is kind of a gorgeous reading. When the 10 of Pentacles and the happy ending and the Lovers card popped out, I was like, because like, I don't want to tell somebody they're going to get divorced, but I also don't want to be like, everything is going to be perfect, because not normally. Everything can be really good. You can have peace and happiness and be in a relationship that satiates your soul. That still doesn't mean perfection. And, I am one of these people that thinks that there's too much pressure to look that way. Sometimes people are faking the funk on social media. And also because, listen, before there was social media, there were bars, there was workplace romances, there were all kinds of things. Social media has made it a little easier to get attention from somebody when your thing isn't going so great. And so, there's a lot of faking the funk because you don't want your fortress to look penetrable. So you make sure that looks like a happy relationship so nobody thinks, oh, I can get my toe in there. Not even because you want to be fake, you're being protective. That's what I said. I wanted a clarifier for that. Okay. This might be somebody you already dealt with. You're just not, I don't see any communication right now. That's something, that's death being that's something being resurrected. I wanted to find out more about this Five of Pentacles and this person, so you may be able to like maybe identify them in your field. Although I'm a big fan of just like keep putting the boundaries up and like and I don't mean boundaries in a like complete defense mechanism. I mean, keep creating healthy boundaries for yourself and doing work on you, because then the rest of this will come in. But they have the Page of Wands in reverse over this Five of Pentacles. They're tired. They're tired and they're drawn to you. I don't think they're looking for a new start right now. And I think they are drawn to you. And I think might be a little slower, might be a little bumpy coming in, because they're just like, I don't want it anymore. I'm tired. And again, this could be somebody for some of you. This might be somebody from the past, and it could be a Taurus with death in reverse. And it could be a friend that you haven't spoken to in a long time. It could be, it doesn't have to be a lover. It doesn't have to be an old relationship. But they're in your field. Let me just get one advice card from universe. And to do that, we're gonna take these. You're not watching, Cancer almost won again. Friday night, the Cancers need you in Friday night tarot on Soul Navigation. They almost won last time, and Leo, it was Leo and Cancer kept winning. So when we're doing Friday night tarot, if you are in the live, whichever sign shows up the most. Now you cannot spam my comments and say Cancer 100 times if you're one Cancer in the room. But my moderator is just, she's checking how many accounts show up with that, saying that sign. So if there's 25 Cancers and 24 Leos, then Cancer wins. But last week, like by a hair, Leo won the divine reading. I do a divine connection reading for whoever watches, everybody watching the replay comments. And Scorpio won that one last week. That one keeps changing. But like Aquarius won twice, Cancer won, and this week it was Leo. What do we talk about? That it's never about you. It's never about whether you're sexy. It's never about whether you're not a passionate person because you have that like maternal, I'm going to take care of you and make cookies energy. Grounding my energy. You know, water signs can be a little ethereal. As a water sign, I like to ground my energy at least once a day. Now, I do have some earth influence, and I have quite a bit of fire and strong air. I kind of do have, I'm very grateful for it. I kind of do have like a pretty good balance or mix. But my water energy is heavy, and water energy, it's almost like depending on the sign, some water energies are like double dose of water for whatever, balance of earth they have in them. It's safe to be in my body. That's important. That's so important. It's safe to be in your body when you are in the throes of passion, and it's safe to be in your body when you're in sweats in the kitchen. It's safe to be in your body all the time, and your body does not make you fodder for a reason why somebody would stray. That definitely needed to be said. Cancer, I will see you next week. Leave me a comment if this resonated, and I will see you Friday night on Soul Navigation. I love you. Now you love you.